Joel Embiid returned to the Sixers for Game 4 after an emergency appendectomy less than 3 weeks ago. Embiid did have 26 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 dimes, but the Sixers did not have much to show for it. They totally got blown out by the Celtics, 128-96. Tyrese Maxey only took 3 shots in the first half. And if the Sixers lose one more game, their season is over. So now the question is it time for the process to come to an end and possibly for Philadelphia to move on from Embiid? What do you think, Stephen A?
Big Perk has mentioned this on numerous occasions about potentially moving on from Embiid. The reason I'm averse to it, I don't agree with it, is because I don't think you can get anything for him because he is always injured. And nobody's going to give up any real assets for him. On one leg, I watched his brother average 35 in a playoff series against the Knicks a couple of years ago. I think that Embiid, if healthy, is one of the greatest big men to have ever played basketball. Unfortunately, he's never healthy. He came into the league missing the first 2 years of his career due to injuries, literally the first 2 years of his career. Mm-hmm. But believe it or not, I don't find him to be the biggest problem. They should have never brought Paul George in. You didn't need him. Paul George, one of the best people I know. I wish he had stayed in Los Angeles and signed his 3-year deal. I can't knock him for the 4 years, $212 million that he signed for. Good dude, damn good player, all-star caliber player when healthy, no doubt about it. One of the best people I know. But you didn't need him if you were Philly. Which gets us to Daryl Morey. I think the time has come for him. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be an executive in this league or whatever, but he ain't built for Philly. Too analytical. Philly don't give a damn about that. That's a blue-collar city. They don't care about MIT. They don't care about data analytics. Mm-hmm. They don't want somebody there that's going to tell you things are better than you think because the numbers say that. This is Philadelphia. They could give 2 frog fat behinds about that. They don't care, okay? They care about that. That's blue-collar city. This is Philadelphia. You talk to somebody that worked there for 17 years and was a columnist for the last 7 years of my career there. I know Philadelphia. That's second home to me. I'm telling you, I ain't asking you. They don't give a damn about that. And they need a leader that is about basketball, that when he speaks with authority. When he opens his mouth, you listen because you know he has the credentials and he ain't relying on just analytics. He's relying on what the hell those 2 eyes of his see. Now, I know he's going to be mad about me saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Months ago, the former 4-time champion executive that worked with me and Big Perk the last couple of years doing NBA Countdown, named Bob Myers, all right, was elevated within the Sixers organization. Let's stop playing damn games. Philadelphia needs that man running that damn basketball franchise. Daryl Morey needs to go someplace else and where that analytics stuff is going to be sold and it's all right because they ain't buying it in Philly. They're just not. That's just the truth. All right, you bring Paul George there, that ain't working. VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey are the future of this franchise. We're praying that Joel Embiid is healthy enough every April. That's what it comes down to. Philadelphia got romped yesterday because they're an inferior team, and if they ain't careful and they don't get their act together, Tyrese Maxey's going to run up out of there. Because why, as great as he is, sit around and be subjected to this? He's not going to put up with it, I'm telling y'all.
No, I agree 1,000%. It's time for a change, and it's time to change and move some furniture in that front office as far as Daryl Morey. And I'm with you and say you can't move Embiid at this point because he doesn't have any value. But when you think about Philly, just over the last 3 years, the only thing that's been coming out of that from that organization is drama. Whether it's been the James Harden breakup and him being traded away, or Joel Embiid, being rushed back or should have had some type of structure in place, or whatever the case may be, it's been nothing but drama and not enough winning in the postseason when it matters the most. And here's the problem. I don't believe it's going to be easy to trade Paul George. Nobody's going to want to take that money on for PG, not the way that he's been playing. So now you're stuck with it. The biggest thing for Philly this offseason is that they got to start establishing some type of foundation and some type of culture over there. And I'm with you. If they don't, you don't want to be on the verge of having to lose a bright young superstar on the rise in Tyrese Maxey, so they got to get their stuff together.
And let's call it, and let's keep it a buck, Perk. The only reason Paul George is there, and again, we're not saying that Paul George don't deserve to be in this league and he ain't an all-star caliber player when healthy. We love Paul George. But the point is, the only reason he in Philly was because Daryl Morey was trying to save his own ass, because he knew he needed to do something, because he was getting some heat because of the way the Sixers were looking. That's all. He did it to save himself. I'm sorry, Daryl Morey. I got respect for you and love for you, but damn it, it's the truth. He's not the right man for Philly. He could be an executive other places, but that data analytics and MIT stuff, that ain't flying in Philly. They don't care. And the bottom line is he did the Paul George thing because of himself, not because it was better for the Philadelphia 76ers. And now it's coming back to haunt them because that's $212 million you could have utilized elsewhere, and Paul George could have stayed in L.A.
Some people might be seeing this like, hey, the series isn't even over yet. But the unfortunate matter of
It's
it
over.
is the 76ers have lost all, I believe it's 18. Yeah, 18 best of 7 series when trailing 3-1. It feels very much like it is over.
Said they're in trouble against Orlando and could be one and done in this playoff. You believe it or not?
Yeah, you better believe it. Styles makes fights. I learned that from all our NFL people when they talk about the matchups that you have in the NFL. It's the same in the NBA because this Magic team is cut from the same cloth. Big and physical. They are not ducking this fight, and they've got 2 stars right now that are taking it to the Pistons. Jalen Duren, where are you? You got to show up.
They had every opportunity to blow that game at home the other day when Detroit came all the way back and Orlando then closed it strong. And then last one, Monica, you're there with the Knicks. If I said they have found the formula to beat Atlanta, do you believe it or not?
I do believe it, Greeny. That does not necessarily mean it's going to be easy going forward. But basically, they gave C.J. McCollum the same treatment that Jalen Brunson was getting in terms of looking after him. And we continue to say this, Karl Anthony Towns has to continue to be aggressive because he's a factor that the Hawks just can't guard. If the three-point shooting is back as they return home to the Garden on Tuesday, I think they're in good shape.
How about Cat? I mean, he was really the difference in game one in the fourth quarter when they pulled away and won it, and then he was the difference on Saturday night.
Everybody in New York was screaming at their televisions to Mike Brown and everybody else is let Cat be the centerpiece of this series. It's obvious the Hawks are struggling against him. When he's on the court in this series so far, the Knicks are plus 46. When he's off the court, they're minus 21. That's the only math you need to know. He is definitely the guy. And then at the top of the offense, which they started to do in this game 4, playing Brunson off the ball, but also OG Anunoby was feasting off this because Towns was finding him with passes, back cuts for easy baskets, while the Hawks are focused so much on Jalen Brunson. You've got one-on-ones that they can't handle on the other side.
You know, Shump, a basketball playoff series is such an interesting thing. Every game is a referendum on everything. So, I mean, coming off of the game on Thursday night, they're going to fire the coach and everything is right. And then all of a sudden on Saturday night, they look dominant. What do you see in that series right now, tied it to going back to the Garden tomorrow night?
Well, I think they just restored a little bit of order in this series. I took the Knicks in 6. I think they're kind of right on schedule. I felt like they would have dropped both games in Atlanta. But I definitely think that Karl Anthony Towns just being the center, not the center so much as far as let's get him going, let's make sure that he scores, but it's the playing through him. Make sure he gets a touch so that the defense has to collapse. They have to pay him attention. They have to shift. They have to tilt. They have to do things that they are really not principled to do when you also have a Jalen Brunson on the court. Having both of those guys on the court and then having to tilt for both of them, especially when they're on opposite sides, doesn't do anything but, like we were talking about earlier, leave straight line drives and cuts wide open at the basket, which OG has really taken advantage of. Josh Hart has taken advantage of. I think that the Knicks, as long as they continue to do this, should reclaim control of this series and get this over in 6 like we all, were expecting.
Okay, I could keep talking about this forever, but I insist we talk a little golf from this weekend tour. The